Yes, everyone, welcome to this week's Patreon podcast. I'm going to apologise in advance because I think they're trying to find a fucking Hope Diamond outside. There's loads of fucking drilling going on. It's either that or they're making another Ocean's 11. Righty, let's get stuck into this utter carnage that we're about to see. Matt says, opinion on lighthouses and lakes. More on this later. Never been in a lighthouse. Lakes are just a big pond. Where's the distinction between a pond and a lake? Or a reservoir and a lake? What's the distinction? Yeah. Luke says, I've stated previously that I'm not allowed to attend under 16s anymore. Is this everyone in general or just myself? That's everybody. United have made it that you can't go and watch the under 16s. Now, they just used to be public. Everyone could go and check them out. Now it's over. It's the 18s and 23s is the only ones that you're allowed to watch, and they do stop you trying to go in. Does Matt need help? Probably. Ross says, what do we do with Matt? Lethal injection is the most... Lethal injection, I don't think is meant to be that humane in the grand scheme of things. It looks like it's quite painful to me. I reckon, like, just put a pillar over his face. Alex, are we taking any student interns on at Studio 68 for the new season? If so, in what departments? Probably. I haven't made the decision on that just yet. I think it's going to depend on what's going on with the sponsorship. I don't need any, but I think that's a selfish perspective to have. Maybe like the internship program is a two-way street, isn't it? To help people gain experience as well as us get a hand with some of the work. So I think I probably should do. The roles that we've had, there's graphic designer, there's motion graphic designer, researcher, which is more of a journalist type one. Video editors, producers, all of those roles probably be available. I think there might be a new one. We have had a social media one. That hasn't been as successful as I was hoping. So I think everybody else can sort of do that role. There might be one for quite a straight journalist sort of thing, because I'm probably going to introduce a website with Paddock. What the fuck is that out there? Going to introduce a website with Paddock, I think, and we'll probably be looking to bring on some journalists for latest as well, maybe. So there might be ways to expand the team in that sort of sense. I tell you, like, we've not done a tour around in here for a bit, have we? I mean, I know this looks exactly the same as it has done for the longest time, but this place looks totally fucking different now. And there's a lot of desk space in here, which hopefully gets padded out with people going forward. A penguin emperor or an emperor penguin? I'm going to say an emperor penguin. Dean, would I be happy with us getting rid of players like Pogba, Marshall, Lukaku, Mata and Matic and buying 5 young, hungry players that utilise the youth for the rest? It would depend on the players, but in theory, probably yes. Tino, waiting for replies. Shit. Sorry, mate. My fucking inbox in here is a joke. I will get you today, as this is going up, probably. Pogba in his prime or De Gea in his prime? Oof. I think an outfield player has more impact on the game on a regular basis. A keeper can only be used when he's called upon. You ideally don't want to have a goalkeeper. It's more impactful having a player controlling stuff. I'm not sure either of them has really hit their prime just yet either. Maybe De Gea has. Brian, if I could take one player from United Premiership history and put them in this team, who would be he and why? Rio Ferdinand, because we need a leader and we need an absolute beast at the back, and he fits both of those. And I'm going to take a 2002 vintage Rio, please. Has Santa delivered the Patreon present yet? Which Patreon present? I'm going to have to ask you what the fuck that's about. Can someone bring me in the 2 shirts, please? They're on that chair, I think, just by my desk. We did get these back this week, and I'm going to try and get these posted today. So, Jazz, you've got one coming today, and there's another lad from Betbull who's got one coming. Just the pink and the blue one. So these will be going out, and then we'll have a think about what to do going forward for the season. But Marcus has signed these for us. We've got that one. So that one there is now signed, and so is that one. Sorted. Zach says, Partey seems like a nice player, and either talks about his release clause legit. Well, it was his agent that said it, so you would assume so. And it seems like a pretty reasonable release fee, doesn't it, at the moment? Connor, would getting fourth and not winning the Europa or any kind of cups be acceptable if there were signs of a better playing style and transfers paying off? Is that this year coming up? Yeah, I think so. I think so. Brian McDermott, Godfather 1 or 2? Off the top of my head, I can't remember the difference between them. They're like 19 hours long, aren't they? Do you know what? I actually don't think The Godfather gets made today. That's not to say it's a bad film. I just think that the directing style of The Godfather, there's minutes with no dialogue. You just think, it just doesn't happen nowadays. There's no way in this fucking ADD nation, everyone in the cinema's on the phone if there's fucking no dialogue. You're just watching scenery for minutes at a time. Donald, any chance of ever getting a player out of City? If they were getting rid of Sane, would he help us a lot? Which youth players do I think will stick around and play their part in the first team next season, and which ones do I think will go on loan? No, I don't think City will sell to us. I think they fucking hate anything United related. There's some shit I really want to tell you guys about City, but I think we'll leave that to another time. It'll come out soon. It's quite funny. Which youth players I think will stick around and play a part in the first team next season? I think Mason. I think Jimmy Garner will. And I think Angel goes on loan if they sign him up to a new deal. If they don't sign him up to a new deal, I don't know what's going to go on with him. I did text his dad and he's read it, but he's not replied yet. Here we go. What the fuck? The night sky is filled with thunder and rain. Your paddles splash gently against the dark, dreary waters of the lake. Okay. You sit in your boat with my friend Taj. He's wearing nothing but a G-string that separates his arse cheeks like a sliced sandwich. Matt, what the I don't know what you want me to answer with these questions. They're just fucking bananas. And I have to be handcuffed to Graham Souness or Piers Morgan as a punishment for the rest of my life. Who do I choose? Souness, because at least he's fucking achieved something in his life. Piers Morgan's just a cunt. What's my favourite type of crossing? Zebra, pelican, puffin, or toucan? What's a pelican crossing? What's the difference? I have to Google what the difference between these is now. Anyone know what the difference is between a pelican and a zebra crossing? I didn't realise there was that many types of fucking crossing.
There is a toucan crossing, a pelican crossing.
What's the differences?
I think it's talking about driving this one.
I like the zebra crossing. Keep it old school. Cardiff Met University qualified for the Europa League. Oh, wait. Fucking what? Oh, my God. How many does their stadium hold? I can't imagine getting tickets for that's going to be easy. That's crazy. What would be my main system next season, and if required, who would I bring in to make said formation work the best? I can't decide at the moment. I'm really torn. I like the diamond. I think the diamond offers us a lot, especially for a counter-attacking side. And the reasons for this, if you're playing a counter-attacking side and you play 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, then your wingers just naturally drop back. Whereas if you play a two-striker system, your two strikers naturally stay high. Two players staying high versus one player staying high, doing the maths, is just better chances of having someone forward. One striker being marked by two centre-halves, easy for them to deal with. Two strikers require two centre-halves and possibly a defensive midfielder or one of the full-backs to keep marking them, because you always have to have one more than what the opposition leaves forward. So two-striker system for me is the one to go with. It gives you the strength in midfield, your wider midfielders, your eights if you like, they start patrolling the fullbacks, but you need very good fullbacks for it. I think Luke Shaw can do it defensively. We need someone on the right who can do it defensively. And I think that's the formation for us to play. But I am torn, because I do like the 4-3-3. I think it offers you a lot of balance. And I do also like 4-2-3-1, depending. 4-2-3-1, people go, oh, it's two defensive midfielders. Well, not necessarily. You can have two ball players in there, two pivots that are going to carry the ball forward, two ball players. It entirely depends on the players that you put in the system. I do like the diamond, though. I like the diamond because of the two-striker thing. I think two-striker is going to come massively back into favour, and I hope that we're one of the teams that does it. Opinions on João Felix. I'm still watching him. My Instat thing ran out, and I'm trying to get back on it to watch more of him. I think he's got good body movement and good shape. I just wasn't overly impressed when I saw him in person. I thought he was a little bit overhyped. He scored a hell of a lot of goals. I think... I don't know. I don't know on him. The jury's still out. I mean, for the money talked about, I don't know why we're going for a player like that when we've got attacking players of our own that maybe aren't identical but could do roughly what he's doing. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me to go with that sort of price when we're so desperate for that sort of money being spent on the back. If it's 120 million euros for João Felix and we're only bidding 25 million to sort fullback out for Wan-Bissaka, what an absolute piss take that is. Would I consider Bale? I absolutely would consider Bale. I actually really like the idea of Bale. He's quality. He's experienced. He's probably a little bit of a leader, from what I've heard. And he's not going to play a full season, so he's not going to completely hamper anybody else's development coming through. I like that. Brian, what's worse, answering the same questions about the same transfers and Ashley Young all the time, or Matthew's questions? Ooh, dead heat. Matt's questions are mad because they're just... It seems like if he just asked me a mad question, I'd be all right with it. But it's the length and the detail's impressive, and the detail is admirable, to be honest. I think he's wasted writing them questions in there like that. I don't know. They just derail me. I can't answer them, especially some of the things that he puts in them. I just can't. I can't answer them. I can't read them things out. I just can't do it. Do I think Lukaku will stay? And if not, what type of player do I think would be a good replacement? Or would it be best to get another winger? No, I don't think he's going to stay. I haven't heard anything. I just don't think he is. What do I think will be a good replacement? Either a poacher type, that's quick, or someone totally different to play as a plan B. Or possibly you go with a winger. I think you could see Tony and Marcus as a forward pairing, but I do think they need an older head as well. I don't think Tony's link-up play is good enough. No, he's probably one of the most gifted footballers at the club, but talent isn't enough on its own. You've got to be able to work as a team, and you've got to be able to work hard, and those are the things that I don't see in him. Dutch, am I in any way concerned about the length of Matt's questions, or the fact we still haven't sorted a director of football could have a negative impact on our summer? Oh, I don't know if Matt's questions are going to have a negative impact on our summer, but I don't think you meant that. Yeah, I think the fact that we're in the middle of what's director of football territory season without a director of football is all sorts of terrifying, to be honest. What's my thoughts on Matt's questions? They're impressive in their own little way. Thames, if Pogba stays, how many midfielders do we need? And if he goes, how many? I think you need 2 to replace him, but I think we needed 1 anyway. I think it depends. If Pogba goes, you can go in an entirely different direction, because I think ultimately Matic is on the replacement cards. Herrera's on the replacement cards. So you could really see that best midfield of last season needs a complete overhaul. Thomas, I can easily see a situation where we run into negative net spend with the sales of Pogba, De Gea, Marshall. and then not being able to get the quality replacements over the line. Rather than making scramble last-minute signings, would I prefer to plough the difference straight into the academy? They're not going to do that. And that's what's mad in it, is that if I can imagine if Nicky Butt goes, do you mind if I spend 100 million on recruitment of coaches, scouts, equipment, analysis, and maybe a little bit of to get some players at 15, 16 over the line. The board would be like, are you fucking mad? But Mason Greenwood could potentially have saved us £100 million transfer. And there's others in there that might have done the same thing. What's Marcus Rashford saved us? One of the reasons why I think Marcus needs time is the same number of goals and assists that Ronaldo achieved in... he's actually got more than Ronaldo achieved in the same amount of games. Ronaldo was playing in a settled team with the greatest manager the world has ever seen. That has to give you an impact. That has to play in some sort of factor. Doesn't mean he's going to go and have a career like Ronaldo. I very much doubt he is. But I think he's earned the right to have the time. The same way that I think what Mason's done in the academy has given him the right to show what he can do in the first team. There's no patience in football anymore. And I think that's a massive, massive, massive issue. Massive issue. I think if they did plough that sort of money into the academy, it would bear fruit. It couldn't not, could it? If you recruit the best coaches, they're not going to cost you as much as a mediocre player. You could probably stack the entire backroom staff on the price of one mediocre player. You could... I've got to be honest, even at United obviously, you basically need to be an international before you get games. We've seen Dylan Levitt, never made a debut for United, part of the Wales national team training squad with the likes of Bale and that. You basically have to be an international to come through at United. We saw Marcus making his debut for England weeks after getting his United start. That's the level that you've got to be at to come through as an academy player, which is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Look at Sancho, doesn't get through at City. They've got the same sort of high ceiling, just not as much willingness to play them. He makes his debut for Dortmund. He has a few good games. England debut. That's the level. So I think I'd love to see us plough it into the academy. And I'd love to see us start creating this. But where's the likes of Newcastle and Stoke and Norwich and West Ham and all of these players? Why aren't they ploughing money into their academy? If they can't afford, and they can't, and can we even afford £100 million players? Spend £100 million on your academy and you're going to get a couple of players come through. But then the problem is managers are scared to give academy players time because they're probably going to get sacked in 6 months. Because that's the turnover of managers. So a high turnover of managers with super high expectancy, which is, some of the seconds that we've seen in the Premier League and the Championship this year, you're like, what the fuck are they doing all right? What have you sacked him for? There's no patience. How many of the first team do you actually know and how many know you? Me and Mitch were talking about this morning. First team, 3, 4. How many know me? Don't know. Don't know at all. Paddy shocked me when he said, Rio was always putting the Full-Time Devils videos into a player's WhatsApp group. No idea. Absolutely no idea. What's my take on Levitt getting a call-up for Wales and at the same time not being mega super close to making a debut at United? Levitt reminds me a lot of Scholes. Not very quick, not very strong, but vision and ability to put a ball where he sees someone making a run, unparalleled at this level. Can he translate that into the first team? I was talking to Dylan last week when he was on. They did training last week, which hasn't been announced. It was 4 days that they did of training before this training camp. And I was saying to him, is Bale with you there? And he was like, no, there's not many first-team players there. There's only slight fringe players for the Welsh squad. And I said, oh, that's a shame, because if Bale's there, I'm thinking Giggsy's one over-the-top ball round from you to Gareth Bale, and it's fucking over. But obviously now he's there with Bale, so hopefully that gets to come off. Thames, What's the most I'd spend on Wan-Bissaka? Feels like if we pay the money we get him, I'd pay 60 going in today's market. What have we paid for Fred, plus the inflation that goes up year on year? 60 million. P. Spicer, with the apparent news that Ashley Young being made captain could be the downfall of Solskjaer's reign, or is it a case of Nova's leaders in the squad? He's not suitable, is he? I mean, I keep saying, don't I, if Koulibaly turns up, I'd fucking sign the contract and throw the armband at him, in all honesty. It's a bad, bad, bad indictment that Ashley Young's going to be the captain. Like, fuck me, man. From growing up, the captains of this club, Brian Robson, Eric Cantona, Roy Keane, I think it was Gary Neville then, following Roy Keane, Gary Neville / Ryan Giggs, Rio, Vidic, Wayne Rooney. Was it Wayne Rooney after Vidic? I think it was. Might have been Carragher's club captain, maybe, for a little bit. Regardless, what a fucking joke. What a fucking joke. Do I believe football goes in cycles? If so, would the Busby WM formation ever work in the future? Or do I believe that football just keeps evolving and new systems are required to beat the current ones? I bet both. So it's like chess, innit? There's only a certain number of moves that you can play with 11 pieces. And people will get the hang of a certain piece. And then someone comes in with something new. If you've not read the book The Mixer, is that on the shelf behind me, actually? It's a fucking brilliant book. Between that and Inverting the Pyramid is almost a real in-depth history of certain tactics and formations and why they worked. Back at the turn of the last century, the formation to play was a 2-3-5, and you go, fuck me, that's mental. But if you look at the actual positions of players in a 4-3-3 formation, 2-3-5 is what they play. 2 centre halves, 3 midfielders, fullbacks, wingers, striker. There's your 2-3-5. The fullbacks are very often in the final third putting that ball in. You've got wingers alongside them and a striker in the middle. 2-3-5 on paper sounds mental, but actually it is the formation that we see a lot of the time. I'm not sure it does necessarily go in cycles, but I do think that people get used to a certain formation, and then someone who's successfully able to break that mould by maybe going with a certain different number of players in positions or interpreting that formation in a different style can have a little bit of success. Jose Mourinho and Rafa Benitez were the pioneers of the 4-3-3, coming away from the 4-4-2, really, that the Premier League sort of kicked off with. Fergie played 4-4-1-1. Cantona being a player that operated in between the lines, quickly copied by the likes of Middlesbrough with Jorginho even, Chelsea with Zola. Lots of players then started to play off the lines, where you always had the big striker and the little striker. Now Cantona's operating in the middle. That forces someone to change what they're doing in midfield to try and accommodate what he's doing. And you just see this slight adaptation of formations all over the place. Hence why I think at the moment the one to go with is that 2-striker system. It forces a team to start sitting a defensive midfielder further back than they perhaps would do. Teams aren't now as used to the 4-4-2 style as they are with a 4-3-3 style. People get used to, oh, there's one striker, we know what to do with him, and there's a winger, we know what to do with him. In a 4-3-3, typically you'll have 2 late arriving 8s or an 8 and a 10, so we know that we have to drop some of our midfielders to deal with that into them spaces. It becomes quite formulaic. Like, if you, people of a certain age, I mean, I don't know what some of you guys in your 20s maybe now, if you go and have like a quick 11 aside, do you line up in a 4-3-3? Because me and my mates would probably line up 4-4-2 still, because that's what you know. Well, at the top level, it's similar. You know certain formations, you know strengths and weaknesses of them. So someone who's able to quickly implement something totally different, a 3-4-3 or something along those lines, where you go, hang on, who the fuck covers him now in this position, can cause a little bit of havoc and have some success. I think one of the factors in Leicester winning the league was because that they was playing a 4-4-2 and people wasn't used to it for a bit. Mentioned on a recent warm down that Marcus had to play through injury because of other players pulling out. Am I able to go in more detail? Sorry. I don't think it's my place, and I don't also know it for definite fact. It's just what I've been told. And I don't think we need to be piling on with the toxicity that's going on with the club at the moment. Will I take Bale on a loan? Yes. How shall we approach Europa next year? Play the youth or actually give it a go? Top four is by no means guaranteed. I fucking hate it. I absolutely fucking hate it. I'd like to see us play the youth, but I think there's probably commercial reasons for us having to actually take it fairly serious. Will I take top six finish and Europa League? Oh, no. I want to fucking get in the mix with it. What would I say Angel's best position is, and do I think he'll make it in the first team? United haven't done well with attacking midfielders in recent years. I think he reminds me very much of Iniesta. Sort of a number 10, not quite a number... sort of a number 8, an attacking number 8, not really a number 10. You have to get him on the ball more. He has to have the game in front of him, not with his back to goal. What do I think about the GOAT being captain next season? Cantona's retired. If it's Ashley Young, I'll be fucking... It's just no need, is there? Do you think we may need another left-back or a more versatile full-back for depth? I see what you're saying there. Like, no. I do think that Shaw's not the perfect left-back, but we've got such big problems in the rest of the defence that just fucking park that problem for now and let's roll with it. Do I think Ryan should ask his co-worker out for drinks? Yeah, do it, dude. You'd be fucking dead soon. You wish you'd be banged more. Milan, weird one. Oh, here we go. Do I think it would make the atmosphere better if the Stretford end was one tier like the shithole Cop? Yes. And do I think the Red Army are doing a good job keeping the atmosphere going? I can't hear it from the Stretford end. I can see that everyone's stood up and it does look like it's starting to spread a little bit, but I can't hear it from where we are. It's pretty noisy where I am on tier 2. But yeah, one massive terrace would be absolutely fantastic. They've murdered the Stretford end by putting execs in the middle of it and then murdering the K stand and E stand by having that disabled section go right through the middle of it. There's just less people and it's fucking shit for the disabled fans that are sitting there. It's a bad idea all around. Johnny, is a Pogba situation similar to Rooney when he questions United ambition? Does he need someone around him equally as good on the ball to make United great again? Yeah, but he definitely wanted out last summer and I can understand it and almost kind of like agreed with him. If your boss is being a complete dick with you, of course you're going to feel a similar sort of way towards him. Well, he's been pandered to now. He's been given the armband a few times. He's been allowed to take penalties, which is fucking mad, considering we've got people absolutely tearing our strikers to pieces. We've got, is it 14 penalties or something? He's either scored 11, missed 3. If one of our strikers had got that, it'd have put him into the 20-goal territory. In fact, if one of our strikers had had that, it might have put him in contention for the fucking Golden Boot. How mad's that? I think he's been pandered to massively. It's time for him to shut the fuck up and get on with it for a bit now. Who's my favourite comedian? Do you know what? If you've not watched Ali Sadiq on YouTube, go watch him. I like Ali Sadiq a lot. I like Bill Burr a lot. I like Joe Rogan a lot. I don't know who makes me laugh the most out of all those. The greatest of all time for me is Billy Connolly. I fucking absolutely love Billy Connolly. He would be a dream podcast guest. Not for a warm down, I'm assuming, probably more for like a Thursday Club. I am trying to think about how to structure what goes on with the podcast because I do think I would like to do more just turn it on and start talking podcast without necessarily having a topic. But we'll get into that at some point in the next few weeks as we start trying to plan out the summer and the rest of next season. Can we make a deal that if we ever meet Matt, there's at least 30 police around? I think we was pretty close to meeting him in Ireland when me and Ben went over for the thingy. I don't know, Matt, was we? Let us know. I can't fucking remember now. Do I think that Sessegnon and Longstaff rumours are true? Well, Sessegnon, I think, was very true last year, and I think there's someone at the club that really wants him, hence why that's probably resurfaced again. But I'm going to say no, I don't think they are. And Longstaff especially doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. Are you saying that Jimmy Garner couldn't have done what Longstaff's done in these few games? I believe Longstaff used to be a striker, though, and was an absolute fucking goal machine, which is weird that he's now playing centre mid. Kyle, what the fuck, man? Okay. Christian, I'm seeing on Twitter that the party rumours are probably agent-driven, probably right, and generally coming down from unreliable sources. Assuming this to be true because he wants a better deal, Atletico We would not be better off going for someone like Ndidi. I like Ndidi. There's a lot of players like that in the league that I would like. Ndidi is an excellent example. Idrissa Gueye is another one. There's loads of players like that we could pick up. Clearly ready to take the next step in his career after proving how good he is at Leicester, and probably more than likely be interested to go at United than Partey at this moment in time. I agree. But we also might be in for Partey. I haven't heard either way. FLA Paul, what are you meant to do when you get a new combination lock? Does it come with a code, or are you expected to put the work in and keep guessing? I'm about to launch it through the bastard window. Doesn't it have a fucking little bit of paper in there that tells you what it is? Or isn't it normally like set to like 9999 or 000? Google is your friend. Definitely wouldn't have waited a week for me to answer this if you're sitting there waiting for an answer. Hopefully you've got in it by now. Want to continue to see you succeed in what you're doing, but a question is, what are the areas you need to improve on to grow your YouTube channel, and how am I working to achieve that goal? Do you know what? I haven't actually fucking thought about that. I would say Warm Down needs more regular guests. Confirmed. It's so fucking hard relying on a third party for that. I want to do more travel, and I want to broaden it from just United content. I don't know all the answers at the moment. It's very easy to go down a fucking clickbait YouTube drama kind of route. It doesn't interest me. I just like making stuff that I would like to watch. So next year, I'm hoping we get to make more documentary stuff. And we've come up with probably about 8 or 10 different documentaries, mini documentaries that we would like to make. Those are the sort of thing that I would like to make, and hopefully the audience picks up on those. Unfortunately, the history stuff takes us a long time to do and gets fuck all views. But I like doing it because I like doing it for me. There's more than one way to measure success in YouTube, and numbers is a very cheap way to measure it. Like, I think X Factor did fucking 40 million views a weekend. Is it good content? Not for me, it's not. Is it ever gonna match up to like Band of Brothers or something like that? Is it bollocks? Is Band of Brothers ever gonna get that sort of fucking traction? Probably not. If you're measuring by numbers alone, you're not going to be fucking happy with it. I mean, like, my fucking missus watches all these makeup types that are all about fucking drama and stuff like that. They've got 20 million followers. They're just turning a fucking phone on and sitting there with a camera. Doesn't necessarily make it good, just because a lot of people are watching. But unfortunately, you do need a lot of fucking people are watching to make it commercially viable. Gordon, our team sheet against Wolfsburg, would you even take this over the shout? Our defence these days. I remember that game. Is that come up on screen all right? Yeah. Yeah, it's got him there. Park, Fletcher, Carrick, Evra, Kushat. Jesus Christ. Ferguson was a genius, and what a fucking team that is. And we won. Shokon says, everyone's saying that we need an elite centre-back, but who can we really get? Napoli won't sell. De Ligt wants Barcelona. Does De Ligt want Barcelona? Someone sent me something the other day, which was an interview between Frenkie de Jong and De Ligt. I think it was a couple of years ago when there was at Ajax, I think it's Ajax TV station. Frenkie de Jong says it's my dream to play for Barcelona and play with Messi. Achieved. And De Ligt goes, not mine. And he goes, I think he says something about it's too hot to play football. And the interviewer says to him, well, where would you go? And he goes, I'd like to play in the Premier League. I like playing in the rain. I like playing where it's a little bit cooler. He goes, I can always go to Barcelona on holiday. I don't want to play football there, though. So is it his dream to go to Barcelona? Has he come out and said that? I mean, has he even come out and said that it's supposedly he wants to lead United's rebuild? A lot of smoke and mirrors going on at the moment. Again, I agree with you. Toby, 25 mil. We can go and get straight away. Yeah, probably will try and sign Varane. There's fucking centre-backs in the Premier League that improve us immeasurably that we could go and get. We've got an absolutely dog-shit defence. Ali, 11 years ago since that night in Moscow, can you remember where I were? Yes, I can. And how competitive would that 08 side be nowadays? Personally, I think it would have made it to this year's European Cup final. I think it would have won it. Who beats it? Considering you're looking at a fucking final of Spurs that we can beat, and Liverpool, who aren't that fucking special. Look, yes, City and Liverpool are setting record points, but that's because the fucking league's worse. Celtic are setting record points in fucking Scotland. Might as well be Celtic, you know what I mean? The fucking league's shit. It's a shit league. There's a handful of top teams around Europe and they compete for the Champions League. Somehow Liverpool have slipped through the net against a not vintage Barcelona team. Spurs rode their luck against City. City are probably the best team in Europe, but not in the final. This United team would have absolutely fucking ridden them. The 2008 United side was absolutely mint. Vidic and Rio at centre-half, right? Van Dijk doesn't come close to either of them, let alone fucking two of them. Prime Paddy Evra at left-back, fucking Wesley Brown at right-back. There's no other defence comes close to that. In terms of goalkeeper, at the time, Van der Sar, truly elite. Best in the world? Don't know, but it was in the conversation. In midfield, Paul Scholes couldn't play in a 2, but you put him in a 3 and you allow him to be protected by 2 others that can do the leg running for him. Very young Michael Carrick, and for some reason, the fucking energy and graft that you had in Owen Hargreaves was a very strong midfield. Best in the world? No, I don't think so. Not at that time, I don't think either. The Chelsea midfield was very good around about that time. The AC Milan midfield, was this Seedorf and Kaká? Probably better midfield. But then the attack, you had an interchangeable attack with Wayne Rooney probably around about his peak, unselfish, grafting for the team. Cristiano Ronaldo, 42 goals he scored this season. There's no one in the Premier League that comes close to what Ronaldo did that season. And then Carlos Tevez, who is a prick, but he grafted for the team. And that team was the perfect blend. That team absolutely... If fucking City are getting 100 points, that team gets fucking 105, 106, 107. Not a fucking problem. Not a problem. At all. They'd have killed it. They'd have absolutely killed it. How competitive would they be? It wouldn't be competitive. It'd be fucking far and away in front of everyone. Favourite dog breed, country and food. Staffordshire Bull Terrier. Country. Don't know if I've got a favourite country. And food. Come on, man, you know what food. You really do know what food. It's pizza. Pizza is because it's versatile as fuck and you can get it anywhere. And it actually saves lives, probably. Anywhere you go in like fucking random places, like when me and Dave was in Germany, there's no places that you can get some decent takeaway from except pizza joints. Pizza saves lives. Country is a weird one. I don't know, man. I like Manchester, but I also like seeing everywhere else as well. I don't know if I've really necessarily got a favourite country. Do I think the rumours of us approaching the Ajax goalkeeper is a sign that we'll be selling Dave in the window? I hope we do. If he's not going to sign the contract, then fuck off, man. Sling it. Do I find it odd that with a creativity problem, we aren't even linked to Ericsson? He's probably going to cost you far too much. We've been mint at the tip of the diamond and works his socks off every time I've watched him. He's a fucking top player. But you can't go buying people off Spurs unless they've got something like going on like Alderweireld does. You get absolutely rinsed. Would he be able to play in the same team as Pogba, or would they get in each other's way? I think they would. But you're going to need an Ndidi or an Idrissa Gueye or a Kante that's just going to just fucking put turbo graft in behind them and let them do what they need to do. I think they'd be excellent together. Crafty Badger, can I share more on Rashford on this podcast? Is there a chance he won't sign a new contract? No, I think he's going to sign. Would I bet anything on it? Yeah, probably would, to be honest. I think he will sign. Personally, he'd be my captain next season. Jesus fucking Christ. Just go look at some of the replies to his comments. Go look at the replies to his thing about the Manchester bombing and just think, can you imagine if we made him captain? Easy who I'd build my team around. All the signings should be players who play to his strengths. Do you know what? It's interesting you say that because we've never played to Marcus's strengths. And I think his strengths are ones that would really benefit us as a team and Solskjaer's system as a whole. And we've signed someone every fucking year to replace the kid. And he's still there fighting. At what point do you go, all right, let's see what this little fucker can do? You know, we signed Zlatan. He only gets an opportunity once Zlatan gets injured and he takes us to the Europa League final. We then signed Lukaku and we bosh him off onto the left wing, where he's actually doing quality. He's not a left winger, he's a forward. But him and Marshall, the momentum of both of them, one starts, the other scores. Fucking brilliant. Hilarious. Then we signed Sanchez and completely fucked that up and all. 3 times we've tried to murder this kid with an experienced older head in front of him. And he's still here and he's still fighting. I can't believe people say he's got a bad attitude, that he walks around the pitch and that. I don't fucking see this. I don't know if the cameras are showing it on telly or something. I'm not fucking seeing it. He's one of the few there at the moment that I still think of the club's best interests at heart, and I don't think it matters that he's not super vocal. There's been plenty of great captains who aren't. I'd love him to be more vocal. I do think there's going to be a statement coming from him when he signs this contract, where he sort of says, you know, I've not demanded anything. I'm here for the club, blah, blah, I'm a United fan. How do I start reaching out with people with news on transfers? How do you know who to go to, etc.? They come to me. And I've got to be wary because I don't know the reasons why all the time. You know, I know Angel's dad's messaged me when he's wanted something in the past. I know other people who have done that in the past. The best way to get it is by being in the places where the people are. Going watching the academy games is the fucking ripest bit of juice. Agents are there, parents are there, players are there, and if you're there regularly enough and in the right kind of circles, like I know a lot of the player parents because they'll watch and the players will watch Full-Time Devils or they've watched my stuff, but I've been going to the academy games for years. Like I sit on my time hop yesterday was a picture from the academy game where we won the FA Youth Cup in 2011 when Jesse and Pogba was in the team. I've been going to the academy game for years and years. So people recognise you after a bit and they come and say hello. Because there's not many people there at some of them. There's fucking 12 people there sometimes. And people like know everybody else who's there. Who the fuck are you? So they come and have a chat to you. And especially if they've seen you there 10, 15, 20 times, sometimes you end up getting a lift with them. Sometimes you end up getting this, that and the other with them. And before you know it, you've got each other's number and you're just throwing text back and forward. I don't think most of you will believe how many people related to the club contact me on a daily basis because I don't fucking believe it, to be honest. And sometimes how long they're on the fucking phone for, Mitz will tell you. It's weird, but that is the best go-to for it is that. And there's some agents that I know that don't necessarily deal with youth players, but I've seen them at Carrington or somewhere like that because they've been there watching an academy player. That's mostly the way it comes from. So hopefully next year we get some more of that as well because this year I couldn't get to as many youth games. One, because of Mrs. being pregnant and then obviously giving birth in January. I've had to be at home as much as I can. Hopefully at the start of next season, United are going to be playing a lot on Sundays. The academy plays on Saturdays. It's a great opportunity to get out there and go and speak to people. Do you think we'll see any movement on director of football until... Do you think we won't see any movement on director of football until competitive seasons are over across Europe? For example, if we're getting Mitchell, then RB Leipzig have their last game this weekend. Hadn't thought of that. Maybe. I hope it's Mitchell. There's a lot of talk that it could be Mitchell. People who know him saying that he's coming back to England and stuff like that. Fingers crossed. And what's up, Howson? Couple of questions. You know the routine. When did I first fall in love with football? I think Cantona made me fall in love with it. Probably like about 94. Now, I know he signed in 92. I feel like it was the 94 sort of age of Cantona that made me really fall in love with football. Because I think those first few years, your dad just texts you, doesn't he? And you don't really know why you're going. You're just going. You don't question it. But then after a bit, you get indoctrinated. And then you decide that you like it or you don't like it, I guess. But I think it was that Cantona, that era, that 94, 95. Watching United win stuff with Cantona just chest out, fucking doing what he wanted. I think that was made me go, wow, yeah. When was that first time I hated football? I don't know. Hate's a real strong word, isn't it? I couldn't believe we hadn't won the title in 1995 against West Ham. Ridiculous. 20-something shots on goal. It's always in defeat. You hate it, obviously. Dortmund 97. Cantona leaving. Couldn't get my head around that. Couldn't get my head around Beckham going, to be honest, either. Was certain it was bollocks. Guy's a United fan. Why is he going to go? And when was the last time you wanted a break from football altogether? That happens frequently at the moment. I really enjoy the fact that I've managed to do this as a job and give jobs out to some of the lads that's in there. But the retards that you have to deal with is fucking astonishing. I talk to some people involved at the club and I talk about some of the social media and they just don't read it. I can't not read it. You know, I have to go on social media and be active on there. I'm not like a footballer that can be disconnected from it. I have to be aware of it. And it can get on top. It can massively get on top. The MEN thing with Partner Fan, which was, you know, I'm happy to talk to you guys about it. I got fucking nothing to hide. I figured out why the MEN went so hard on it, and the way they fucking did it is wrong. And Karma's a motherfucker. That'll get back to them at some point. They was being paid by another company that runs a similar sort of thing, so they took it down on the basis of that, which is a fucking piss take. But directing it at me, making it look like I was just fucking headlocking tourists on the fucking forecourt at Old Trafford and stealing money off them. Fucking rum. And then certain individuals tried to use that for their gain. You know what I'm talking about, I think. Accused me of being a tout and all sorts of stuff. That got too much. The low point, I was having a meeting down in London and I turned my phone off and someone had photoshopped up a fucking statement from Full Time Devils that said I'd kill myself, and my granddad was the first person to see it. He doesn't know Twitter trolls. You fucking seen him on the videos. He's fucking old. So my granddad's flapped, tried ringing me, and obviously this fucking I've fucking killed myself has gone around the whole fucking family because of some prick on Twitter. Now, I'm not famous. I don't want to be famous. I want to be successful. I have no desire for fame. It doesn't fucking interest me in the slightest. Unfortunately, it's kind of fucking linked to being successful doing this. I don't want that side of stuff. It's fucking inexplicable. But that definitely made me want to take a break permanently. And it still comes up every now and then, to be honest. Because you just think, what the fuck am I bothering for? Is it worth the shit? Brian, with Van der Gon and Pogba seemingly going, if we don't replace them, where do I think Angel and Garner will stand in the team by the end of next season? I think if they're given opportunities, they're good footballers, but I don't know if they're able to. No, they're not able to replace Ander and Pogba. Not straight away, at least, anyway. Seeing as Dortmund have signed 2 wingers, if someone do I see Sancho more likely to come? I see him more likely to move, doesn't necessarily mean more likely to come here. I think we're in for it. I think United briefed that they're interested, but there might be ulterior motives for that. Speaking of ulterior motives, how do I word this? Trying to get to the bottom of who's put out that Rashford's interested in or demanding 300k. And we don't know. Don't know who it is that's demanding 300k or who said that Rashford's demanding 300k. I've got my suspicions. It's probably someone related to... I mean, I could be completely wrong. I don't know this for a fact. This is me just trying to fucking CSI the shit out of this. I think someone like George Mendes is putting out that Rashford wants 300k a week to detract from the fact that fucking De Gea wants 300k a week. And isn't going to sign it. Because he's getting very little shit in the grand scheme of things. And he's dragging this out, asking for astronomical money. Ain't no one saying nothing. Ari Wan-Bissaka, do I think United could offer to waive the Zaha sell-on fee to lower the price? That's a hell of a point. That'd be a good bargaining chip in our favour if they did try that one. Why do I think Ollie prefers Rojo to Bailly? I remember Rojo a few weeks ago was saying Ollie told him he was in his plans. Fuck knows. No idea. Something's gone on with Bailly. I don't know what. I just get the feeling something has definitely gone on. Got a couple of questions. Would I take Rabiot at United, and who do I think will be better in 10 years, Marshall or Rashford? Ooh. I think Rashford will be here in 10 years. Don't think Marshall will be. As for who's better, this next year's key for both of them. Rabiot at United, footballing ability, yes. We've got too many dickheads at the club as it is. I don't know if we need another one. Thoughts on the released players, says Clemens. James Wilson, inevitable, ultimately after the injuries that he's had. James Wilson was never an athlete, but he is the most natural finish that I've ever seen at the club. Unfucking believable level of finishing. But you do have to be an athlete to step into men's football, and he never was. And I think that's ultimate downfall. Regan Poole, never got it, not asked. Matty Willock's better than Scott McTominay. But because of the breaks that they've had in their careers, it's probably going to go like that now. I hope Matty gets a good club because he's a fucking good player. DJ Buffon, took me a long time to get him. I think his best moment was that second season in the 18s. He made a real good midfield with Angel and Cal Whelan. Very small though. Very typical of an academy footballer, like neat and tidy on the ball, no X factor. Zach Durnley, never really impressed. Cal Whelan, don't get this one. Cal's another good player, put him in the same bracket as Matty Willock. Thought he was going to kick on. Fantastic in the 18s, didn't happen. Tom Sang, very beige, never really impressed. Terrell Warren, there was nothing at one point between Roshan, Axel and Terrell Warren. Don't know what's happened. I would expect him to probably reappear quite high up in the leagues. Milan Bars, never saw anything of him, not overly bothered. Matty Olasunde, absolutely dog shit, not surprised he's gone. Probably one of the worst players I've ever seen in the academy, apart from El Fattori, who is definitely the worst player I've ever seen in the academy. Right, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you guys for your continued support. Probably returning the vlogs next week once we start getting a grip on life and everything. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.